All right, guys. So before we start what we are going to learn brand new today, let's review very quickly what we've been doing with our symbols, our greater than and less than symbols. So let's look at this first. And remember, we read numbers just like we read words from left to right. So this is called our greater than symbol because if we read from left to right, the number on the left is greater than the number on the right. And remember, we talked about this being an alligator, and the alligator mouth eats the bigger number. So whichever one is bigger, the alligator mouth is going to be open towards that one. So this is called our greater than sign. This one's called our equal sign. That means both things are equal. They are the exact same. So for example, 5 and 5, 3 and 3, they are equal. They are the same. And then this number, this symbol as a review is our less than sign. Again, we read from left to right, and that means the number on the left is less than the number on the right. My alligator mouth is eating the bigger number. So just as a quick review, we have greater than, equal to, and less than. And I'm reviewing that today, guys, because we're going to use that in the new thing that we are learning today. So let's take a look at our objective. Here's our objective for today. Can I have a volunteer to read our objective for today? And as you guys are raising your hands, let me just point out a few words that could be a little bit tricky. So let me share those with you guys. This word is called, or not called, this word says compare. This word says digit. And this word says symbols. So those are three words that could hang up a little bit. So go ahead and raise your hand if you do want to read. And those tricky words are compare, digit, and symbols. Let's see. Sarah, could you read those for us, please? The learning objectives. All right. Great job reading, Sarah. So what does this mean? What does this mean that we're doing today? Well, to find out, let's look at the verbs in this objective. So the first one says that we are going to compare. What does that mean? What does it mean to compare? Raise your hand if you think you know. All right, Brianna. Yes, excellent. So when we compare something, very good answer. We are taking more than one thing. It can be two, it can be three. And we're looking at those together and we're saying what's the same and what's different. Very good. So we're looking at more than one thing together and figuring out what's the same and what's different. Here's the other verb that is in this objective for us today, and it is record. Who can tell me what they think record means? Jaden, can you tell us that? Yes, very good. So when you record something, you write it down. Sometimes people say that you're making a record, okay? So if you record it, you're writing it down. So today what we're going to do is we're going to take two 3-digit numbers. We're going to compare them. And then once we compare them, we're going to record what we find out about those two numbers. So that's where the greater than and less than and equal sign are going to come into play, because that's how we're going to record the results that we find. All right, so this is a very, very fun lesson, and we are going to be just having the best time today. So let's get started. So before we start with recording and observing our numbers, let's briefly go over our place value chart, because place value is going to tell us what these numbers have in common, what these numbers have as differences. So if we are talking about our place value chart, it tells us what each number is worth. So for example, if I put the number 3 in the ones place, that means it's worth 3 ones cubes. So I can go 1, 2, 3, and that's what it's worth. So that number in the ones place is worth 3. But what if I put the number 3 in the tens column? Well, that means that it's worth 3 tens rods. And so the way that I would count that to see what the 3 is worth in the tens place is I would go 10, 20, 30. And so that 3 in the tens place has a value of 30. And then if I put the 3 in the hundreds place, what's that value? Well, let's look at this picture. It's worth 300 blocks. So I would count that 100, 200, 300. So we see we have the same number in each column, but they're worth a different value depending on where the place value is. And we've gone over place value some before too, but I wanted to remind you guys of this because we're going to be using this to compare and record. That's what we're doing today. We are comparing and recording. Who else would like to have a turn to put some numbers on our chart? Let's see, Ariana, can you put some numbers on our chart here? All right, good, Ariana. So Ariana put the number 376. All right, Ariana, in your ones place, what's the value of that 6? Good. The value is just 6, right? Because it's worth 6 ones cubes. Excellent. All right, Ariana, what's the value of the 7 in your tens place? Good, 70. Because you have 7 tens rods. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70. Excellent job, Ariana. All right, and then how about in the hundreds column, you have the number 3. What's the value of that 3 in the hundreds column? Perfect, 300, very good. So it's worth 300 blocks. 100, 200, 300, so it's worth 300. So Ariana, how would you say this number completely? Good. 376. Perfect. You read from left to right, just like you read some words. Excellent. So now that we've kind of reviewed that, let's do our objective. We're going to compare, and then we're going to record. Compare and record. So let's get busy with that. All right, so I'm going to need some more volunteers. Can I get someone to write a number on the left and someone else to write a different number on the right? Let's see, let's get Alicia, can you put a number on the left? And Mason, can you put a number on the right? All right, so let's look at the numbers that our friends put here on our chart. So we always start in the left-hand column. We read from left to right. So let's say this left-hand column is our hundreds. This number is the number 3, okay? This number is the number 4. All right, so I am doing my first action, which is comparing. Friends, in the chat box, can you put which one is bigger? Is the number 3 bigger or is the number 4 bigger? Yes, good. So everyone in the chat box that I see said the number 4. Yes, the number 4 is bigger. So that's my first step. I just compared those numbers. Well, now I have to record what I found. What was my result? Well, if the number 4 is bigger, well, my alligator is going to want to eat that one because that's going to be the bigger number because 400s is for sure bigger than just 300s. If someone's going to give me $400, I'll take that over giving me $300. So very good. It is larger. So now I'm going to say this in a sentence. Listen to how I would read this. You ready? 327 is less than 463. So see how I read that just like I would read a normal sentence from left to right, but I was able to read it by using my symbol that I recorded after making my comparison. All right, let's try this again. I'm going to get someone else to be able to help me do the reading of it. but let's see if someone can put some new numbers in the box for us. So if we have 2 volunteers, let's see, Levi, can you put a 3-digit number in the left? And Josephina, can you put a 3-digit number in the right? All right, these are some good numbers. Good job, guys. Okay, so we have Levi put 167 and Josephina put 346. All right, so let's start in the hundreds place. All right, this number is number 1 and this number is number 3. All right, friends, in the chat box, can you please tell me which one is bigger, a 1 or a 3? All right, such good answers. Awesome job, guys. 3 is bigger. And that alligator does not want to eat the smaller one. It's hungry. It must be hungry from swimming. So we're going to make the alligator mouth eat the bigger one. Now, who can tell me in a sentence what I've recorded here based on what I've compared? Who can tell me that in a sentence? Adeline, can you tell me in a sentence what we just recorded about these 2 numbers that we compared? Excellent job. Very good. 167 is less than 346. Excellent job. Beautiful work. Now, I have a little bit of a challenge for you guys. What happens if I have something like this and I look in my hundreds place, 3 and 3. And those are the same. Oh no, am I stuck? This is a challenge question. Who can tell me, what do you think I would do next if I came to something like this? Cohen, you think you could tell us? Yes, Cohen, excellent. Then I move to the tens. Beautiful job. Okay, so now I'm in the tens. So now I'm going to say, okay, here's a 6 and here's a 7. All right, y'all, tell me in the chat box, which one's bigger, 6 or 7? Yes, very good, 7. All right, so who can put a recording of a symbol in the middle of which one is, it's which way it's going to go, which way the alligator is going to eat? All right, Kylie, can you put the symbol in there for us? Where's that symbol going to go? Beautiful, very good. It's going to eat that one. It is bigger. Even though it has the same hundreds place, we move to the right, and there you go. The tens place is different. It's going to eat the biggest one. Kylie, can you tell us in a sentence what our recording says about the observations we made of these 2 3-digit numbers? Very nice. 364 is less than 372. Beautiful. Now, also remember that sometimes we will have the exact same number in both spots. So we may have a number like this, 312, 312. Friends, can you help me figure out what symbol I would put in the middle of that? Put that in the chat box. What symbol would I put in the middle of that? Yes, excellent, an equal sign. Those 2 are the exact same number. And so it's 312 is equal to 312. They are the exact same number. Oh my goodness, you guys are just doing a beautiful job. I see you in the chat box. I hear you whenever you're raising your hand. So good. Now, this is a time that you guys are going to be able to work together in smaller groups. I'm going to do a breakout room with you guys. I'm going to break you off into groups of 2 each. If there's someone that happens to be in a group of 3, then I'll tell you what to do from there. But if you're in a group of 2, I would like one person to do the left-hand column and then one person to do the right-hand column. You guys can choose who does what. But go one at a time so you guys can have conversation about it. And I'll give you an example. I'm going to pretend like I'm working with my partner on 380. So say it's my turn. I'm going to say something like this. 380 and 380. Oh, those are both the exact same. I'm going to put the equal sign because those are the same. And then my partner may say something like, I agree with you. That's a good answer. Okay, so as you're going along, I want you to talk to your partner. If you feel like your partner maybe needs a little bit of help, help your partner. If you want to tell your partner, good job, I agree with you, have that conversation, go for it. Awesome job, guys. And then I can see who is able to do what, and then we will meet back in here after the breakout room is over. All right, y'all, great job on that breakout room. And we have one last thing for us to do today, and this is your exit ticket. So the way the exit ticket's going to work is I want you to choose 2 of these comparison problems. So you're going to compare the 2 numbers, and then you're going to record the results that you found. So for example, if I wanted to do this first one, 387, 103, then I would write in the chat box, 387 is greater than 103. I'm going to give you the option though. You can either use the symbol, I've included the symbols here in this column for you, or you can write the words. And I've put the words here for you if you want to look back at those to spell. So you can choose either one. You can either use the symbol or you can use the words. Up to you. Just choose 2 of these and put them in the chat box, and that will be your exit ticket for today. Oh, what a fun lesson we had. That was incredible, guys. All right, so for the last question, how will I ensure that students receive differential opportunities? It's a little bit hard. I didn't know exactly what Blackboard. I looked up that Blackboard was the teaching platform, and so I did look up a little bit of what they had to offer. It did say breakout rooms, chat boxes, and some polls and things like that. So definitely would include that. Very heavy student involvement and allowing them to participate. I do know on a virtual setting that it may seem like they're just kind of sitting there sometimes. So definitely having them engaged, having them share back and forth. When I taught in brick and mortar, I did a lot of whole brain teaching, which I think will still be appropriate even in a virtual setting. Breakout rooms, I think, would be a fantastic way to do that as well, and to be able to partner students, and if one can help with another's weakness and they can help one another. I did look at the IEP goals, and like, for example, I was thinking that Jaden needs help with reading comprehension. And if I were to partner him with someone like Micah, Micah's proficient in math, but does not have any reading comprehension issues noted. So if we get into word problems and things that need more help with reading, and those 2 are partnered together for the day, then that would maybe be a good pair for the 2 to be able to offset one another. Also for the exit ticket, to be able to offer a different level of things they could try. So even if they want to try a challenging one, great, excellent. But if they're not quite ready for that yet, it still gives them a way to be able to show me what they learned in class, and if it's something that is proficient or something that I need to go back over. The objectives I did put on the board in the lesson that I posted. I put them 2-toned. And I did that because a lot of times students I've worked with, they have a hard time tracking, and they're so focused on like keeping where their line is, they're having a hard time just getting through and reading the actual content. And then also remembering to tell like those tricky words that could hold them up. And so, like, for example, I called on Sarah for that one, and Sarah has an IEP goal of reading comprehension. So being able to work on the reading comprehension, even though this is math class, with some accommodations and modifications built into that. And then also, I would imagine that there's lesson assignments even after the live lesson. So having that heavy involvement for me to see live what's happening is great. But I'm sure that afterwards, there's probably some actual things that are turned in, some quizzes, some tests and things that will also help me to collect data to see where those students are either thriving or need more assistance to be able to guide future lessons as well.